This is KGW News at noon.
Our top story this afternoon, the 21-year-old U.S. airman accused of leaking classified documents about the war in Ukraine made his first appearance in court earlier today, just one day after federal police arrested him at his home in Massachusetts. Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Drew Carney. Jack Teixeira faces the possibility of 10 years in prison if he's convicted. NBC's Ron Allen has the latest from outside the courthouse in Boston.
It was a brief initial appearance in federal court. Teixeira arrived in the courtroom in a prison jumpsuit and handcuffs. There were a couple of emotional moments when he was able to make eye contact with people in the courtroom who appeared to be his relatives. He's charged with 2 counts under the Espionage Act with the retention of transmission, removal of classified documents, hundreds of them. The charging affidavit says that there were dozens of them marked top secret. The documents appear to be briefing papers that were intended for America's top military officials, and many of them apparently had to do with the war in Ukraine, talking about troop movements between the Russians and the Ukrainians just a few days ago. So this was real-time, very, very recent information. The FBI had the help of another gamer. Teixeira was showing these documents in a private chat room, meant to be private, and one of the gamers made the documents public for some unknown reason. But that's how this was all discovered. And interestingly, at some point in the process, Teixeira apparently found out that there was an investigation going on when there were published reports about all this, and the FBI says that he did a search on his computer of leak, using the word leak, because he knew that they were after him. And that's when he knew the game was up, and he was arrested the next day. Ron Allen, NBC News, Boston.
Nightly news, by the way, we'll have much more on this story for us coming up tonight at 5:30. Again, you can catch that right here on KGW. Well, we have a local traffic alert to get to this afternoon. This one involves the blue, green, and red MAX lines. TriMet is shutting down a part of all 3 lines for 3 weeks starting this Sunday. Again, the blue, the green, and the red lines we're talking about here, they will not run between the Gateway Transit Center and Northeast 7th Avenue starting this Sunday through Saturday, May 6th. Shuttle buses will run instead every 5 to 7 minutes to serve the MAX stations that are closed along that stretch. Another thing to note here, the red and green lines will also not run on the west side of town. So TriMet says riders should use the blue line for trips between Northeast 7th Avenue and Beaverton. We will end this on a positive note. The orange and yellow MAX lines and TriMet bus service will not be impacted by any of that work. All right, let's take a look at today's forecast. Now we're going to start this, Rod Hill, with a live look around the area. Sky cams from the Oregon coast up to Mount Hood. Rod, we could accomplish something here this afternoon in Portland that we have not done yet in April. What are we talking about, my friend?
Well, we're talking about hitting 60. It's crazy because we did it 6 times in March. We had a high in March of 68 one particular day, but since April 1, we've never done it. The warmest we've been is 59. I'm going to get to Portland's temperature currently in a moment, but we showed you this in the 4-box. Look how deep that Pacific water blue is. Folks out enjoying. Looks like the tide's out a little bit. You can walk up to Haystack Rock. Temperature in Cannon Beach, 50 degrees. Very, very nice indeed. And the camera a little murky here, but this is down along the central coast. So I wanted to show you just how sunny it is up and down the coastline. Again, you can see the blue color. That's looking up to the north down in Lincoln County from the inn at Otter Crest. And here's downtown Portland. Are you ready? Here we go. 53 degrees right now. There is no way in the world that with sunshine expected the rest of today that we will not get up to 60. In fact, we could go more like 62 or so for a high temperature today. 53 currently, 60 at 4 p.m. or warmer, and then 54 at 8 o'clock. It still looks like, Drew, we have a dry day tomorrow, although we won't have the sun that we have today. And then we'll have the latest on how much rain we're going to pick up Sunday and my complete forecast coming up.
All right, that's about 10 minutes away, Rob, but right now we do want to jump back into our news headlines this afternoon. A family in Washington hopes their tragedy prevents future fentanyl overdoses. Governor Jay Inslee signed Tyler's Law into effect. The law takes aim at the device that drug dealers use to make deadly fake prescription pills. Drew Mickelson with our sister station in Seattle talked to the family of the man who the law is named after.
He was one of those guys where he was good at everything he had done.
Tyler Lee Yates was Zach Yates' big brother.
He always was better than me at everything.
Zach learned a lot from Tyler.
I'm thankful for all the life lessons he had taught me, but no, he was a great guy, It's hard to talk about it. It gets me emotional just sitting here talking about it.
In January of 2022, Tyler died from a fentanyl overdose. His family says the 31-year-old was addicted to opioids after recovering from a motorcycle crash. According to police, he took what he thought was OxyContin, but turned out to be a fake, laced with fentanyl.
There's no way to tell the difference between a real one and a counterfeit. And unfortunately, in this case, it was a counterfeit, which was fentanyl, and it was enough to end his life.
This bill makes it a Class C felony to knowingly possess, buy, sell, or deliver a pill press machine.
Tyler's family contacted their legislator to get a bill named in Tyler's memory.
Thanks for your leadership on this.
Pill presses, the machinery that turns powder into pills, is now considered drug paraphernalia in the state. It's the most common way drug dealers make the deadly counterfeit pills. Some of the 1.9 million doses just seized by federal agents in Western Washington were made with pill presses.
If one life can be saved, or if awareness can come out of us, if anything good can come out of a tragedy, that's all we can ever hope for.
Tyler's family says his law means his final life lesson will be passed on to countless others. It's enough to make a big brother be proud.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
When Tyler's law goes into effect this summer, Washington will join Mississippi and British Columbia as the only other jurisdictions that have banned the private use of pill presses.
Again, that was Drew Mickelson reporting for us from our sister station in Seattle. Back here in Portland now, we know a little bit more about what will happen when the city demolishes O'Brien Square. That's the downtown park on Southwest 8th and Harvey Milk that's been fenced off and closed for 5 years after it was deemed structurally unsafe. On Wednesday, Portland City Council voted to spend $4.5 million to demolish it. That plan calls to fill in the underground garage, level the park, and cover it with grass. For years, that spot downtown was defined by drugs and crime, but today there's some hope as the new Ritz-Carlton goes up right around the corner.
The square is bracketed by these, sort of social extremes, but we think everybody should be able to, have their park, their square, be, safe and experience a lively place.
Demolition of O'Brien Square is set to begin here in the next couple of weeks with plans to finish up by October. A family in the Dalles is asking for help to find their dog who was stolen along with their pickup truck from a Home Depot parking lot. 1-year-old Ida is a German short-haired pointer. There you see her. She was inside this 1991 silver Toyota pickup stolen outside the Home Depot in the Dalles. Sean Corbin said he went inside briefly to talk with a friend, but he says he also left his keys inside the truck.
We chatted for 10 or 15 minutes and I come outside and the truck was gone. We started driving around town looking for the pickup. We got word, I talked to my wife Jean here, that somebody seen the truck on I-84 westbound by Mosier.
A Facebook post about the missing dog has been shared thousands of times at this point. So the family believes the truck could either be in the gorge or somewhere in the Portland metro area.